Brought to you by every damn cheesesteak joint in Philadelphia. This is the Philadelphia Sports Porch with your hosts, the Grand Schwabini and Rube. Come on, Philly. Show us a little Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, and Sixers love. The Philadelphia Sports Porch starts now.
Does it start now?
All right. Welcome, everybody. You are looking live. We got a little bit of a late start tonight, but that is not going to deter us one bit, Rube. Things are all of a sudden looking up, especially for those Philadelphia Phillies. Are you starting to feel good about things again?
I do. I thought we were just going to be in for a long summer after the Flyers got swept and the Sixers got swept, and all of a sudden, summer looks promising again. I'm very excited.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. For those of you who are new, wherever you're watching us, you can also watch us on X. It's at Philly Porch. Make sure you click the follow button. You can watch us on YouTube at Philadelphia Sports Porch. Remember to hit subscribe. We'd appreciate that. We turn this into a podcast after the show every single time we do this, 7 o'clock every Monday night. So you can hear our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio,
every Tuesday night.
You're right. Every Tuesday night. Very good correction. First error of the evening. I feel like who makes the most errors on the Phillies? Alec Bohm?
Trey Turner, Alec Bohm. I don't know.
doing my Trey Turner for you. All right. Well, let's get into this. So moving on now. By the way, Rube is a lifelong Philly fan living in Austin, Texas, of all places, where the barbecue is hot and the women are hotter, including
and the temperature's hotter than all of them.
right. And I, lifelong Philly fan, Philly native, born in Philadelphia, but I live in the town of Pittsburgh because that's where I met my wife and settled down. And I had the good fortune of the Phillies coming into town this weekend, and I got to see my Phillies at Pittsburgh PNC Park, and I got to see the Phillies sweep those dreaded Pittsburgh Pirates. And not only did they sweep, but it was just the way in which it happened was phenomenal. You had an incredible comeback on Friday night, and then Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler just went out and just flat out dominated. So let's take just a look back for a moment here, and let's get into that big comeback first. And the way that really started was with one Kyle Schwarber.
Games. And a high fly ball out to right center field. O'Hearn going back. It is gone! Two-run home run, towering shot for Kyle Schwarber. And the Phillies have cut this lead to 3. It's a 6-3 game.
And now Mason Montgomery will face Kyle Schwarber, who homered off Ashcraft in the 5th, Major League leading 19th home run of the year.
And Schwarber hits one in the air to left center field. Cruz on the run. It's going to be over his head and out of the ballpark. Wow, did that jump into the back of the Phillies bullpen. And here.
So, Rube, just two absolute blasts there, huh?
Yeah. Did you actually get to go to the games, or did you watch from the comfort of Casa de Schwab?
I went to one game. I went to the Christopher Sanchez game, where Harper led off with a home run in the top of the first inning against Bubba Chandler. And that was an absolute smash. We'll show that in a minute. It went off the batter's eye in center field. And then Sanchez was just unhittable.
Yeah, we grew up calling them the Buccos, right? Do they call them the Buccos in Pittsburgh, by the way?
Yeah, they still call them the Buccos, sure.
Okay. Watching Christopher Sanchez in person, did you have any doubt whatsoever that he was as dominant as he looks on TV? You watched it a little closer. Did you? How do you do you kind of put this in words? Is it more dominating watching him on TV or in person?
Well, I'm going to say it's more impressive, I guess, at the ballpark. Now, granted, I had some pretty awesome seats. We were actually sitting in a luxury box because
whoa, sorry, whoa,
because Amy has a friend who has those seats, and basically from our luxury box, you're looking right down on home plate, and then if you kept looking straight, you'd be right at first base. So we got a really good view, and what was really impressive about Sanchez is, Sanchez is known for his incredible changeup.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing how he just plays with the hitters. You never know what's coming. And when it comes, man, it's hard to hit in itself. I mean, when he throws a fastball, it's 97. And then he throws a changeup, and it looks exactly the same out of his hand, and it's 84.
It just drops.
Yeah, and I mean, like the amount of guys that just were way out ahead was unbelievable. And actually, Marcelo Zuna, formerly of the Braves, now plays for the Pirates.
Strike out 4 times or something?
4 times, and he apparently is buddies with Sanchez. I think they're from the same area. Okay. And he said to Sanchez that he was going to homer off him in that game, and he responded with 4 strikeouts, which was pretty sweet. Let's go back to the game, the comeback. Right now, we've got the Phillies are down by 2 runs or 3 runs, I think, and 2 runs, and you've got Harper at the plate with 1 out in the 9th, facing former Philly Gregory Soto, doing what Gregory Soto does.
Second base. Fly ball right center field, hit pretty well. Reynolds going back to the wall. He's there. It is off the top of the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes Turner. The throw toward the plate is cut off by Soto. The Phillies have tied it up.
Dang it.
And Schwarber's out at third. The Phillies have tied this ball game up.
Shame he didn't get a grand slam there.
Shame Schwarber got thrown out. A. B, do you think maybe a 2 or 3 year younger Harper, that's a grand slam every time?
You know what? Here's the thing. You know what? I was leaning towards saying yes to that.
Okay.
However, when you see the home runs that Harper hit off of Bubba Chandler and Paul Skeens, you will realize that there is no issue with power. So, now, being that only tied the game, let's just take a look at Mr. Batting Title giving us the lead in that game.
In baseball. Fly ball out toward right field. Reynolds going back. He got turned around. It's over his head, and it's off the top of the wall. Bones around third, heading for home, and Marsh is at second with an RBI double, and the Phillies take the lead.
So Marshy's doing his job. I love it. I mean, we need these lower level guys, kind of like our secondary scoring, as you might put it in hockey terms. We need these guys to come through, and now they are. Well, Marsh has really all season, being at the top of the league and batting. He's fallen a little bit. I think he's like 4th or 5th now. But Marsh has done the job, and now Bohm and Stott.
Yeah, he's down 30 points from last week.
Yeah, I mean, Bohm and Stott are on fire now. I saw that Bohm had a double in his first at bat tonight. So great stuff there.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that the peaks and valleys that teams go through in the season, and how bad they were to start the season, and how good they've been since Mattingly took over, and coincidentally when Wheeler came back, I think we're like 19-5 or something crazy since Wheeler's been back. So just his mere presence alone gives us confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Now here, I'm going to show you a couple Harper home runs, and let's see if you think there's a power issue here.
Fly ball center field. That is absolutely crushed off the batter's eye in center field. A 3-run home run. And the Phillies have taken the early lead.
Now that's the way you attack a 3-1 pitch. Wow.
That is some big-time power.
So that was Bubba Chandler. That's the one I got to see off the batter's eye. And
Okay.
I mean, you got to be pumped about hitting a home run off Paul Skeens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing better.
Fly ball, left center field. Hit pretty well. Mangum going back toward the wall. It is gone! Into the Phillies bullpen. Bryce Harper has just added to the lead. The Phillies are on top 3-0. 12 home runs and 30 RBIs.
So, not really a power issue there.
We'll take it. It's nice to see them hitting, and like you said, it's nice to see them hitting up and down the lineup. What I didn't realize, because I just don't get to watch the team every night, is I didn't realize Real Muto has been out for some time. So they're winning without, their new multi-million-dollar man behind the plate. And you're seeing guys like Stubbs and.
Well, no, actually, he's not out. This is a strategic Don Mattingly move. And basically,
I thought he had back spasms or something.
I mean, he may have something where he's a little nicked up, but he played the game that I saw. He played over the weekend, and I actually heard Don Mattingly interviewed about it today, and they're like, why is Real Muto not been in the lineup as much, and he's not in the lineup tonight? They have Rafael Marchand in, and what he said was, it just doesn't make any sense to play JT 5 or 6 days a week at this point in the season, which I think is smart. Let's keep him fresh for the end. He's phenomenal and he throws everybody out. But let's be honest. I mean, at this point of the game, he's an average at best offensive player. So we don't need to grind him into the ground. I'd rather him play 120 games instead of 150. And, deal with potential for more injuries or not being at his best in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a good idea. And Stubbs has come up with some big hits. And, Marchand, it would be nice to see him get a hit. But what are you going to do? It's good to give.
He did get a hit. He did get a hit in that extra inning game.
Okay. So he got one hit. He's batting 091. So, I bet you can pick out. That is a positive way to say it, Schwabi, for sure.
No, he is pretty terrible, I have to admit. So I'm going to give you one more highlight for the week, and this was last night. What's really nice, and it looks like Trey Turner just went yard. Home run Trey Turner. Phillies up on the Reds 1-0. Pretty exciting.
Good deal. I
Great.
like it.
And, look, so they get the sweep against the Pirates, and they are now above 500. They're 24-23, I believe. And I'll tell you what's really important. It's really important to come home against a team like the Reds, who aren't bad. They basically have the same record. They're 24-24. And, you got to win that game because, look, we got to start stringing big winning streaks together if we're ever going to catch the Braves. And this could be one where I would think like, okay, they beat Paul Skeens and now we're going to come back and it's going to be a letdown. Schwarber's having a stomach flu. He's out of the lineup. He's out again tonight. And last night they find themselves behind in the bottom of the 8th by a run, and that brings up Bryson Stott.
Fly ball right field. Back is Steer. Back toward the wall. It is gone! 2-run home run for Bryson Stott, and he's just given the Phillies the lead. Towering shot to right. It's a 5-4 ball game.
So there you have it. Stoddard getting it done.
Good to see Stoddard and Bohm picking it up for sure. I'll tell you what, this could be an amazing lineup if they ever all hit at once.
Yeah. I heard something. I believe that the two of them are like both hitting like 300 over their last 15 games or something.
Okay. And you saw Bohm played first base last night too. He played a little first base and uh what's his name? Harper DH'd. So I wonder why they make that decision. Like what? Oh, because
Schwarber.
Schwarber was out. That's right. Okay,
Right.
got it. There we go. Okay. Hey,
Yep.
listen, that's it. We'll get him hitting and playing good ball, and it's good to see. Like, so tell me what's going on with this Adalis Garcia, right? He was supposed to be an upgrade in right field, and we're not getting much from him. Is this? Do you know much about his background? And does he usually start slow, or I mean, 53 strikeouts, batting 214.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I was hopeful with him because
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about a guy who I think is only like 2 years removed from hitting 39 home runs. Um, and look, the reason why we're able to sign him on the cheap is because he had a bad year last year. And I think what it might just be is Father Time is catching up to him. Just watching him, in person, it just looked like his bat looked really slow. Um, so yeah, I'm not expecting that we're going to get a heck of a lot out of him. He does at least play good defense, so that helps. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're getting enough out of him. And look, I mean, I think we both know the biggest thing that we need to upgrade at the trade deadline is we need a right-handed power bat and a
Yep.
reliable bat who hits for average and power.
Mm-hmm.
And Garcia's not going to give us the luck of getting a rebirth from him this year. I just don't see it. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Maybe he'll come on at some point, but it doesn't look like it to me.
Okay. All right. Well, we're moving on. Listen, we're pitching better. When we score runs, it certainly takes a lot of pressure off of the starting pitching, the bullpen. Aside from maybe a Brad Keller home run here and now and again, looks better. Duran's
Mhm.
back. So listen, we're still in May. We're still in May.
Yeah.
Got a
One thing.
long way to go, and it's exciting to see them play good ball. It's encouraging. And hey, listen, it feels kind of like when we fired Girardi, right? Back
Right.
in what was that? Whatever, 2021, 22, 23, something like that.
Mhm.
And then they go on a run. So, you know, good for the Phillies for identifying that they had to make a change. Good for the
Yeah.
players for stepping up. And
You know,
so,
there are meaningless stats out there, but meaningless stats. Obviously, we talk about them because they're kind of interesting, right?
yeah.
So here's your meaningless stat for the week. The Phillies are the first team in 75 years to be 10 games under 500 and then come back and be 2 games over 500 within the first 48 games.
Well, they certainly dug themselves a big enough hole.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do though, right? It's hard to do.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, look, you can't sit here and just say it has nothing to do with the manager. It's just the players. I think that the Phillies had kind of quit on Topper, and I think the message just got kind of stale and the very low energy, and kind of nothing new. Um, and Harper talked about it. I mean, I wasn't really crazy with the way he talked about it. He's like, "Oh, we're all waiting for the shoe to drop." Well,
Yeah.
okay, go out and hit a home run, please.
Yeah. Take some
Um,
freaking accountability and ownership.
right. Which is, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't like what he said, but at the same time, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that they had sort of quit on Popper, or they
Yeah.
quit on believing in that this team could be something special. And look, maybe with Don Mattingly at the helm, it's just a little bit different,
Yep.
right? And that can make a big difference. So I'll tell you what, I really got I got to watch Zach Wheeler pitch an entire game on TV against Paul Skeens, and I'll tell you what, I'm amazed. I am amazed that he is back in his A+ form this quickly. I mean, it's really shocking to me. I mean, like I thought maybe he'll come back and have to be a little bit of a different pitcher. He's not going to have that top end fastball. I mean, not really. I mean, he's throwing really hard, and he's still got all the tricks and all the movement, and he was pretty unhittable on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just huge.
How were all the Pittsburgh boys feeling about Skeens coming into the game? I didn't hear much chirping over the weekend.
About what? Skeens getting blasted?
No, about any kind of feeling good about themselves ahead of Skeens' game. Was there any chirping? Any chirping with the guys from the other show?
No, there was really no chirping, simply because number one, they got they had one of their most epic losses in the first game of the series, and then the second game of the series they couldn't barely get a hit off of Christopher Sanchez, who pitched a complete game. So they weren't really feeling that great going into Sunday. I'll tell you what, I mean, and it's crazy, but I mean, really, Philadelphia sports has just been whipping Pittsburgh. I mean, first you have the Flyers take out the Penguins. Then you have Howie Roseman outmaneuvering Omar Khan and getting Makai Lemon over the Steelers. And then you have the Phillies come in here to PNC Park, have their best comeback in many years and probably the worst Pirates loss in many years, and then basically dominate with Sanchez and Wheeler for a sweep. So they've been having a rough time with Philadelphia these days.
Yeah,
and and the caring side of me feels for them.
You mean that little tiny caring part of you?
Yeah, the little tiny caring part of you. I feel for those guys.
I'm getting feedback. I don't know if that's me or you, but sorry for the technical difficulties here.
Oh, no problem. I'm not getting any feedback, so maybe everybody else at home is okay.
Okay. Good.
Any other thoughts on the Phillies before we move on?
Yeah, it's early. It's early, and things are looking up. So excited to, believe in our baseball team again after a very slow start. So let's keep this thing moving forward, and let's the Reds are a good team, but I'd like to see this streak of good ball continue against some better competition to really give me some confidence.
Absolutely. By the way, Luzardo is in trouble. Bases loaded, nobody out in the top of the fourth. Still 1-0. Still 1-0.
Okay.
All right. Now, we hate talking about the Sixers just because they're so just painful to discuss. But I guess we have to because this happened. Daryl Morey fired. I don't think anybody could disagree with this unless you say so, Rube. Your thoughts?
Well, we talked about this literally on our last show, and within 30 seconds,
yes,
I got a text from the Grand Schwabini that said, Morey fired, Nurse kept, and which I replied to, I think that's what Rube said was going to happen. So,
right.
Rubsterdamus strikes again.
Rubsterdamus is I'm beginning to think. I mean, they call me the Grand Schwabini because I'm supposedly good at predicting, but maybe the lamp has rubbed off on you, Rube.
Well, let me tell you something. That happened, and just to go down a quick little rabbit hole for a second, I was watching the Austin FC soccer team play this weekend. Actually, Lemmer and I, and we used to, as you mentioned on the show, we live in Austin, Texas, and have for a while now. So when Austin got a professional soccer team, we got season tickets, and we were really excited about finally having a professional sports team, that we could see and because we never got the opportunity to get season tickets to any of the Philly sports, or where Lemmer's from, the Detroit sports. So it was cool, and we had season tickets for a while, and they just didn't perform super well. And so we're watching the game this weekend, and they were up 1-0. They were getting dominated the whole game, and it was just a matter of time. And you could just see, like, after the 75th minute of the game, they were out of gas, and they weren't really trying hard, and they were making stupid plays. Net is they gave up 2 goals, in like 5 minutes. They lose the game, and I looked at Lemmer, and she looked at me, and she said, the GM and the coach of this team should be fired based on what we saw on that field today. News came out yesterday. Both of them are fired.
I have to tell you, Rube, I didn't anticipate an Austin, Texas soccer team story this evening, but hey, it fits. It fits. It's a little bit of a downtime right now.
I'm a giver, and I'd like to talk about anything other than the Sixers. But listen, I think it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out, right? We had the discussion last week. It's a. I wouldn't want to pay to watch this team play. I expect a lot of people have been disappointed over the years with the process and all the Embiid stuff and whatever. So it needed a fresh voice, or it needs a fresh voice. And I listened. And then I listened to Harris, and I listened to Bob Myers. Their press conference, and it was fine. Obviously, they couldn't say much. They just kind of fired him. But it'll be interesting to see who they go and hire as president and GM of the team. And the thing that's encouraging, right, is that Myers was with the Warriors for 4 titles. Now, you drafted well, you get a Steph Curry, that's going to give you a chance, but not alone does Steph Curry make a team. Right. So maybe they bring in somebody from the Warrior days that knows how to go and build a team. So gives you a little something to think about this summer, and but not surprising. And it still begs the question: what do you do with this team? And what do you do with these aging veteran salaries that are strangling you right now?
Yeah, so there's a lot of work to be done before this really starts going in a really positive direction. I mean, we're still going to have some fun watching Maxey and Edgecombe play, but as far as the rest of it, I think they're ways away from winning. By the way, did you happen to catch Wembanyama last night?
I've watched. So here's what happened last night. I had some work to do, and then Leslie ended up going to bed, and I knew it was Game 7 of the Montreal Buffalo series, and I figured the game would be over by the time I was done working, and lo and behold, it was just going to overtime. So I caught. So this was Rubes from 9:30 to like 11 last night. I caught the overtime game of the Habs and Buffalo, which I just, it was just like any hockey game you ever watch. Buffalo was dominating them. The Habs go down. Did you watch the game by chance? They go down. They just like some innocuous shot on goal. Game over. Series over.
Right.
So I flipped that. And by the way, just a little sidebar. At the same time, Taken was on one of the cable channels. So I was flipping between the game and the beginning of Taken, which is Liam Neeson at his best, in my opinion.
A certain set of skills.
Yes. and then I flipped to the Spurs Thunder game, and that went overtime, and then it went double overtime. And you watch these teams play, and you watch how well coached they are, and with the talent they have, and you realize why these teams are still standing. And it doesn't hurt to have a 7'5" guy who can do everything. Now,
how about Wembanyama with the logo 3 to tie it up?
Unbelievable. Yeah, he can do it, man. But everyone's ready. Down here in Texas, everyone's ready for like the next run and for San Antonio. And
Mhm.
everyone's saying this guy, if he doesn't get hurt, could be the all-time best NBA player. And I'm not ready to anoint anybody that, who's in their
Right,
second year of that.
right.
But I'll tell you what, dude, the NBA's got to love that because that was really compelling basketball. I thought it was really well played basketball. I thought it was really well coached. I thought both teams played super hard, and I think this is going to be an amazing series. It's
But
enough to kind of drag me back and watch a little NBA.
I mean, I hate to say this because you're from Texas. The only problem with this game is that these two great teams don't play in a city that means anything.
Yeah, yeah, it's
You know what I
it's
mean? It's like if one of these teams was Philadelphia, New York, LA, Chicago, then it would be super, super exciting. Now it's just like, yeah, these kind of like small town teams got these amazing players. you know,
well,
you know,
they got amazing teams. And
they do.
and really, I mean, listen, you and I are both big fans of sports, not just of Philly sports, but of good sports,
Mhm.
right? There's a
Okay.
reason we watch it and we love talking about it. And when you watch, game sevens of hockey, and then you get to watch, double overtime playoff games between two really good teams, you have to appreciate that. And I hope that the country
Yeah.
is appreciating it and they're paying close attention because Oklahoma City could go back to back, but I'll tell you what, San Antonio, after getting Wembyama, 2 years ago, they're already
Mhm.
back, right? They've built themselves
Yeah.
a roster. Why can't the Sixers go figure out a way to go build rosters like those teams do? And hopefully the new GM will do that.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, OKC, um, now that's a hell of a job of roster building.
Yeah.
Now San Antonio, I mean, that's pure luck. I mean, that's David Robinson to Tim Duncan to Wembanyama.
It's
I
like
mean, like,
the Green Bay Packer
right,
quarterbacks.
right. It was just like they happened to be the worst the only 3 years it mattered. you know, you know.
there is some luck there, but the question is do you think a guy like Wembyama stays in San Antonio, or is it like it's he doesn't do the David Robinson or the Tim Duncan, and he's like, I need to be in a big market, and what does that look like?
I don't know. I mean, he strikes me as a really down to earth, good guy. So it wouldn't shock me at all if he like feels, an emotional connection to San Antonio and wants to stay there forever.
Listen, they're one of the best all time teams of all time, right?
Yeah,
So they got a lot of
sure.
banners hanging that you and I don't see, and a
Right.
lot of other teams don't see, other than the Bulls and the Lakers and the Celtics. So
Hmm.
it's and there's no state income tax in Texas too. Just saying. So
There,
we'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be a good series, and it's nice to be excited about watching some NBA for once.
yeah. I just hope that whoever wins. I mean, I'm assuming the Knicks are going to beat Cleveland. I'm assuming that. So I just hope that whichever team here advances just wipes the floor with the Knicks. I would love to see the Knicks just get to the finals and lose. That would be
Yeah,
better than the Knicks losing now.
you know what would be interesting after they fired Thibodeau last year for not getting to the finals, to
Mhm.
see them not get to the finals again. What are they going to do? Fire another coach? So it's just
Right,
yeah,
right.
but man, they're good. They're a good team though. They're playing good, and I'll tell you what. Um, I'm excited about the. I don't know if we're going to talk Flyers at all. Not really much to talk about, but
There's a
um,
little to talk about. Did you
yeah,
see?
yeah,
Did you see? I don't know. There's something going on with like Team Canada or whatever.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and or I don't know if it's Team Canada or if it's there's some tournament going on. But anyway, do you know who Porter Martone's line mates are in this thing?
I do not.
He is line mates with Sidney Crosby and Macklin Celebrini,
Oh my
and
gosh.
Porter Martone is scoring like a machine.
I didn't know Martone was Canadian.
I thought he was American too. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a Canada thing. I'm not sure exactly what the hell it some sort of tournament.
It's
But anyway,
it's the IIHF World Championship in Switzerland. So
so it
they
is
are,
Canadian.
yeah, he's got to be Canadian if he's playing with that line.
Okay.
So, but he's
Yeah.
scoring a lot. I haven't paid attention.
Oh yeah, like there was a play that I saw where Crosby was basically like right in front of the net, and it looked like Crosby was of course going to shoot, and he did like a little flick pass over to Martone, and Martone just like knocked it in like it was nothing. So it's good to see Mr. Martone playing well. Look, we'll have to see. There's kind of a long way to go before moves start happening with hockey. Mainly, I guess the couple things. The only thing that's sort of like notable that I really heard was that obviously Michkov didn't have a good playoff series, and apparently he's responded really well. He's like training like a madman, like every day. So I've seen like, stuff of him just like doing
Good.
sprints and skates, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So I mean that's positive, yeah, I mean that's kind of where it is at this moment. Any Flyers thoughts or even any Eagles thoughts?
No, we'll see. I like Brier's end of the year press conference. I thought he came off very well. We spoke last week about what we thought the big offseason needs were, right? A first line center or even a second line center, another defenseman and a backup goalie. So it seemed to be right in line with what we were talking about. And he was very honest about Michkov, and you and I spoke about it. Tuckett sent him a good message, right? And he deserved to be sent that message. And he was going to respond one of two ways. One, he was going to go sulk and ask to be traded and be unprofessional about it. Or two was get to work. And it's very encouraging that he's getting to work. But you know what? Time will tell, and we will see. But let me ask you this: who do you like in the Final Four? Who do you think is going to win the Cup this year?
If I had to put money on it, I would say it's gonna be Colorado versus Carolina. And I guess I'd lean towards Colorado. I have a hard time picking a team that, in my mind, I don't really see Carolina as having any stars. So I feel like when part of the reason why they're so good is kind of like everybody's the same player and everybody scores. But at the same time, I sort of feel like, when you get to, the top of the mountain, you gotta count on some guys to kind of carry you over the top. And I just don't really feel like they have those guys. Not saying they can't win it. They certainly can, but I'll go with Colorado. Who do you got?
I'll tell you what, I'll take Carolina. I was so impressed by them. I kind of feel like they are on a roll. I feel like they've been building for the past number of years. And I tend to disagree. I don't think you need stars. I think you need the best team. And so I think they're the best team that I've seen so far. And I think a Colorado-Carolina series would be great. I'd love to see it go 7. But I'll take the opposite. I'll take the other side. I'll take Carolina.
Now, what do you think? Do you think 11 days off? By the way, it's the most days off between rounds for an NHL team in playoff history. Do you think that's an issue?
I don't know. They didn't seem to have an issue when they came back against the Flyers after being off for a week. So obviously a better team. But I think, like I said, I think they're professional. I think they've been building towards this. I think they're hungry, and I think they think they're unbeatable. And so in hockey, right? Did you see all the Flyer injuries that they named after the end of the season? It's crazy. So to have 11 days off to get your legs fresh and to get people healthy against the team who just had to go 7, every bit of 7 plus overtime. I don't think Montreal's got what it takes. I thought Buffalo was a better team.
Now, the only thing I can think of to talk about regarding the Philadelphia Eagles I think is not worth talking about. And that is that Jalen Hurts was not at A.J. Brown's wedding this past weekend.
Really? Okay. Not surprising. I think if you would only think that's surprising if you've been living under a rock for the past 2 years. So,
I guess here's my question. Okay, my question is this, and I know you don't have the answer, but we're just going to recklessly speculate.
Oh, let's do it.
Right? Look, we all remember when A.J. Brown was traded to the Eagles. We had the videos of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown laughing like they're going to take over the league together. We heard that they were best friends. That AJ or Jalen is a godfather to one of AJ's kids, which obviously means you're really tight. What the hell happened here? I mean, like, is this? It has to be more than football. When you agree, there's got to be something that happened here. Like it could be anything. It could be like maybe like Jalen's wife doesn't like AJ's wife. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is, but there's something off about this. Like how do you get to the point where all of a sudden a few years later now you're not inviting your son's godfather to the wedding? Recklessly
I have
speculate.
no idea. So, all right, we'll recklessly speculate. Jalen hit on AJ's now wife.
Right.
Number one. Number two, Jalen didn't invite him to some big event. Number three, what could it be off the field? I don't know. Maybe he owed him money or something and didn't pay him back. What kills friendships? Money, being unloyal or disloyal, and that can come in many forms and fashions. I agree. It can't be you didn't throw the ball to me enough.
Right. It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
And there were the other thing too is everybody talks about how like everybody loves AJ Brown. It's the best teammate and blah blah blah. Apparently there were only 4 Eagles at the wedding, and I don't think it was a small wedding. So
that is strange.
So and the guys who were there, Darius Slay was there. He seems like he'd be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Isaiah Rodgers was a guy in his wedding party. So I don't know, maybe they lined up against each other and became friends. And then Devontae Smith, obviously, they're in the receiver room together. And then of all people, Jalix Hunt was there. I don't know. Maybe Jalix Hunt gets along with everybody.
Jalix Hunt, he's a difference maker, apparently. I think there was some article Leslie was reading somewhere, and she goes, if you look at like difference makers on the team, there's some random article.
Right.
She goes, who do you think it is? I said, I don't know. I didn't even guess. She goes, Jalix Hunt. I said,
right.
I think I think the Grand Schwabini is a big fan of Jalix Hunt. He had some big plays for us. If anyone's up and coming on the defensive line, it's him. So I could see that.
Yeah, I did see that. He has like an incredibly high amount of pressures, and he makes a big difference. Yeah. So the only other thing that I would say is I finally got to hear Ray Didinger talk, because Ray Diddy in his retirement is, he was on like a 4-month cruise. But I always like to listen to his to what he says about the draft, and he loves the first 2 picks. He said Mekhi Lemon, he never thought the Eagles had a chance to get him. He sees him as a Steve Smith type receiver.
Yeah.
And he said something like he had like 108 targets last year and he only had 2 drops. He's like, the most important thing that you need a receiver to do is to catch the frickin' ball. and he catches the ball. And he felt that Eli Stowers, he felt, obviously a lot of people like that Sadiq from Oregon. He felt that Eli Stowers was the best tight end in the draft.
Well, maybe the best catching, pass catching tight end. I don't know about the rest of it, but listen, they're going to have Jalen's going to have plenty of opportunities and plenty of targets. And I like the way it's going. Give me 2 or 3, 4 people to pass the ball to keep the defense on their toes versus I got to force the ball to AJ. I don't ever want to see that. I try to force that little 5-yard pass to a covered wide receiver ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So, good riddance. It was great to have AJ. He'll always be remembered as a Super Bowl winner. But I like the talent they're bringing in.
Yeah. All right, Rube. Well, that brings us to our final segment. You want to introduce it this week?
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and introduce it. So each week, and this is a tradition that has been held over for some time on the Sports Porch franchise, and it is an opportunity for us, your hosts, the Grand Schwabini and Rube, to show a different side of ourselves to our loyal listeners and podcast followers, and tell you a little bit about maybe when we're not watching sports or talking sports, we have a little segment called What We're Watching. And, I think historically what we've done is we've had an opportunity to watch a show, whether it's on Netflix or network TV or Prime or Peacock or all the Paramount, all the different streaming services out there. And, we'd watch a series and we'd give our fans, an update on what we thought. 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down, a thumb up, a thumb down. And it would really be our way of giving back to our fans because, listen, we've all been there. The Grand Schwabini and Amy, Rube and Lemmer sitting on the sofa, we're like, what do you want to watch tonight? We're both tired. I don't want to have to think about it. I don't know how many times we've said, you know what? We got a recommendation from the guys on the Sports Porch on both franchises, and we're going to check it out. And I would say probably 7 out of 10 times we agree with it. Sometimes we don't, but that's okay. And so what we're doing now is rather than going through a new show each week, we're in the midst of doing our top 10. Our top 10 shows of all time, non-comedy, no sitcoms or anything like that. We'll do that in a different season. But right now we are talking about dramas, or police shows or hospital shows or something, thrillers, maybe horror TV series. And the rule is that it had to have gone for more than 3 seasons. And besides that, not too many other rules. So we have done our top, I believe, 6 so far, and we're about to get down to our 3rd pick. So we're down to number 3. So we're going to go to the Grand Schwabini first and foremost, and he's going to tell us what's number 3 on his list of all-time favorite non-comedic shows.
My number 3 of all time is The Americans.
Okay.
Have you seen The Americans?
I've watched a couple of them, and it was one of those, we started it, and I think we just got into something else and stopped.
The Americans is an unbelievable show. It's 6 seasons. It's 75 episodes. It stars Kerry Russell of Felicity fame, of Diplomat fame, and Matthew Rhys, who's in a lot of good stuff as well. He was actually he play the lead role opposite of in that recent one with who's the blonde lady who's in Homeland?
Oh, Claire Danes.
Claire Danes. Remember that recent one that she was in that you just watched?
Yeah, The Beast Inside Me or The Beast in Me.
Isn't he in that one too?
I don't know. Go back to the picture. Is that the? I thought that was Julian McMahon, the guy from I thought that was the guy from Nip Tuck, Rube's number 10 show. No?
It isn't. It is not. It is Matthew Reese.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right, got it.
so for those of you who don't know, I'll just give you a little rundown here. It's sort of based on a true story, although kind of they made up the story, but the idea is true. During the Cold War, what the KGB was doing in Russia was they were planning spies in America, and they basically took a couple, um, moved them to America, and they had to essentially pretend to be an American couple. They would get jobs, in like in the CIA or things like that, so they could relay information back to Moscow. They would have kids, American kids, and so basically it's the story of a couple spies. So they're just kind of like your next door neighbors during the day, and then at night, they're going around, like trying to send, Morse code back to Moscow, you know. Um, and it's just a really, compelling show. I mean, one of the ways that they made it kind of interesting is like one of the big guys at the FBI actually lived like right across the street from them. And so you know the idea that they would have kind of like um snowed this guy over is something. There's just a lot of it's one of those shows where you probably do need several episodes to kind of get into it, and then each season kind of has its 3 or 4 episodes where like you just can't stop watching. Like there's an incredible story where Matthew Reese, he basically gets into a relationship with somebody who is like the secretary of like the head of the FBI, and like he basically convinces her to put a microphone and a recording machine in the head of the FBI, and eventually they figure this out, and just like there's like 3 episodes where they're trying to get her out of the country, and it's like every single second you're like, oh my god, they're gonna get her. It's just really really good, and I thought it had a really good ending too.
Okay.
So
Don't
I would
don't
recommend The Americans. Is worth it, every bit of it. It's a 2 thumbs up. It's an automatic when you're number 3 of all time.
Wow, number 3 of all time. I never would have guessed that for all the tea in China, all the I don't know, can you say that anymore? For
Sure.
for for all the money in the world, I never would have guessed that. So, uh, you just did.
All
So,
right.
all right, The
All right.
Americans.
So let's move on to Rube's number 3. And if you've been following, you got a pretty good feeling it might be a mainstream TV show, but it is a darn good one, as I can vouch for. Rube's show, NYPD Blue.
NYPD Blue. Yeah, I'm starting to get kind of a feeling that I know where my sweet spot was. So
Mhm.
network TV from the late 90s to 2006, 7, 8, 9 in there, and which makes sense. My kids were young. We weren't getting out a lot, so we were watching a lot of TV, and money was a little tight. So we watched a lot of network TV before all the streaming stuff happened. But I'll tell you what, NYPD Blue, I dare anyone to tell me that's not on there. Well, besides the Grand Schwabini, on your top 10, at least network shows of all time. When you asked me about it this morning and I said NYPD Blue, I was gonna say something like "You gotta love Sipowicz," and before I had a chance to say it, I immediately got back Sipowicz from the Grand Schwabini.
Right.
And he was really one of
Sipowicz is
one
an
of the
incredible character.
he's an incredible character, and it was really cool at the beginning. It was him and David Caruso, right? So,
Mhm.
like the red-haired guy who kind of talks slow and real tough,
Mhm.
and blah blah blah, and Sipowicz, and just a lot of good acting. the precinct. I didn't know this. I did a little research. The precinct, which is the 15th precinct in the show, the outside shot they used for the building, which is I think the 9th precinct in New York City, was the same one they used for Kojak.
Really?
For those of you who were around who watched Kojak back in the 70s. But essentially, it's a kind of a no holds barred New York City, precinct. They live in the gray, and the Sipowicz character, I think, is an all time great for sure. He was an intense guy. You got to see all sides of him. Eventually marrying the attorney and being a mentor to others. Like a lot of cops, dealt, with a drinking, with an alcohol abuse problem. But all the ancillary characters, like Nicholas Torturo was in it.
You know who I thought was a great character, surprisingly, in that show? When Ricky Schroeder was on it.
They had Ricky Schroeder, and then they had the guy from Save the Bell too, who you showed in the picture. And I think
thought
they
Ricky
both.
Schroeder was actually really good in it.
He did. He played kind of this rugged dude. He didn't really expect Ricky Schroeder to be that kind of cat,
Right.
compared to Silver Spoons. So yeah, like Metavoy kind of plays this stuttering cop, and they each had this kind of weird personality, and they didn't get along with, Lieutenant Fancy, and that's the first time I knew that they called lieutenants Lou. I always thought his name was Lou. So really great show. It was 12 seasons. Sipowicz character was one of maybe 2 or 3 that lasted the whole entire time. Really, really good show. Really edgy. I didn't watch shows like The Wire and what was the other one? The Shield. So I don't really have much to compare it to, but in terms of police dramas, my absolute all-time favorite, NYPD Blue. So check it out.
Yeah, it was a really good show. It was really good. So I think 2 good ones this week, and boy, we're getting down to it. I mean, the next go around, we are looking at number 2 and number 1 of all
And
time.
I'm willing to bet we share at least one in common on that top 2.
I know we do.
Okay.
But I will also say this. I do know for a fact you will not share one of mine.
Okay. All right.
Just a fact. I know it.
Well, that's a good teaser. Wow. A top 2 that I've never heard of?
I don't think you've heard of it.
All right. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to wait and see. By the way, before we sign off for the night, Lemmer and I took a chance on The Big Mistake.
Yeah, how is it?
It was a big mistake. It was stupid.
How was
it? you recommended it. We're like, we'll check it out.
I didn't. Oh, wait. Oh, you didn't like it?
It was we watched the first episode and we're like, how stupid could these people be to not be able to get a stupid necklace off a dead person? How dumb can you be? Or how, we're like, this is unbelievable. There's no way they couldn't have got that done.
Tough crowd, man. Tough crowd over there at the Lemmer house.
We gave up. We gave up fast. We both looked at each other like, you want to watch another? And we were like, no. So that's why I said 7 out of 10, usually right on the money. That one was a hard no for us.
Unbelievable. Jeez, you guys, you guys are like out, like, after 10 minutes.
What are you going to do?
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us again. If you haven't seen us on X, it's at Philly Porch. Hit that follow button. If you haven't seen us on YouTube, it's at Philadelphia Sports Porch. Subscribe to our channel. We'd love that if you did that. And we will drop this into a podcast. It comes out first on Spotify, and then it bleeds out to iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and any other podcast platform that is there. As always, we want to leave you feeling as if you are a champion. And with that in mind, I will do that. Here we go.
I feel like a champion.
Mm-hmm.
This is me feeling like a champion.
You sure do. Well, You know what?
Should I
I think
try?
you're gonna have to feel like a champion on your own.
Do you know
because
what? I'm gonna try.
Oh, wait.